good, everybody? You got Jada.
I'm Kai.
Jess. And Tita Mickey.
And we are calling all boss babaes and creative kabayan.
Another special break, so welcome back.
And let's get started while we redefine what it means to be a tita.
And guess what, guys? I got the keys. I got the keys. I can see all the stats. I see who's subscribing.
Logged in.
She does.
Who's not.
She is logged in.
I got the info. Can you tell what she's been listening to? I got the info, so I know for sure who's liking, who's commenting, and who's subscribing. So if you haven't already, do it now. Last chance. JK. But please. Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We'll get a Snapchat, I guess, one day. I also heard about this new thing called Discord. Is that a game or thing?
Yeah, it's a game
we'll get on there too.
Yeah,
You'll find us everywhere, okay?
I'm going to be on Twitch streaming.
Yeah, we'll do Twitch streaming too. But yeah.
Cool, I just need to learn how to play video games. My video games is like solitaire. And Tetris.
You're so good at it though. So good. You lock it. So good.
All right, guys. Well, we have a very, very fun episode today. Today's theme is about embodied memory, kapwa, creating through culture. And today we're going to have a conversation on art, ancestry, movement, motherhood, and building culturally rooted work that goes beyond representation. So today's special guest is a Toronto-based choreographer, interdisciplinary artist, and a creative force whose work blends dance, installation art, ritual, and community storytelling. Through concepts like kapwa, shared identity, and interconnectedness, she creates experiences that honor Philippine lineage, cultural memory, and collective care. It's very possible that you may have recently seen her choreography at Babae Lan presented at Citadel Dance Exchange this past April, or experienced the Dream Weave at Nuit Blanche Toronto and the Mayor's Cultural Summit.
Ooh. Come on.
Hello.
Ooh. I'm so excited.
We only bring the best, guys. Like, come on. Like, what do you expect? Come on. She's also the artist behind Buan Kissed, which are the earrings that I'm rocking today. They are truly one of my favorite pairs. A jewelry practice rooted in ancestry and storytelling. So, titos, let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Blessyl Buan.
Oh, what a nice welcome. Oh my gosh. Thank you, titas. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. We're so excited to have you here today.
Very, very
Likewise,
excited.
I'm going to be surrounded by these tita laughter today. So I'm
crazy
so,
just a
so
bit. There's something
excited.
there.
Minus the violence.
Yeah, I wish I could push your shoulder. We got to keep our hands together.
Minus
Yes.
the violence.
Yes. Okay, Filipino phrase of the week, of the day. We have a few options. I don't know if you girls are gravitating towards.
Mickey chose one.
I pick one.
Yeah, sorry.
Kidding. We know already. Okay.
Okay, the one I chose in Tagalog is nakakaka-relate ako dun.
Oh, whoa.
What does that mean?
You got that finesse
right,
now.
It means I can relate to that, aka samesies.
Yeah. AKA samesies.
Yeah. And then Bisaya.
Whoa. Makahilak man tadaanay. Whoa, that one's a hard one.
Yeah.
I need the spaces.
Yeah.
Makahilak man sa taanay.
Yeah, I think that works.
Yeah.
Can you speak Tagalog, by the way?
I can survive. It's just...
It's more than us.
Possible, yeah.
I feel like I know more than I give myself credit, but I'm so shy. So you have to throw me in there, and then I'll be fine.
Okay. Is there anyone in your family you speak Tagalog or Filipino to?
No.
No?
Like my parents aren't Tagalogs actually. Like my dad is Sambal and my mom is Chabacano.
Okay.
And they speak Tagalog to each other. But growing up, I had one aunt, so I hear Chabacano, which is Asian Creole in Mindanao from Zamboanga City.
Wow. I didn't
Yeah.
even know that.
Yeah.
Before. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
so that's what
Never
I
even heard of that.
Yeah, and then I don't have any relatives aside from the Chabacano aunt in Canada. So I learned more Tagalog through my husband. That's
Oh, really?
Okay.
Which he doesn't speak. It's more the in-laws.
Yeah. And like going to family parties and whatnot.
Yeah, but then when we go to the Filipino, like, if we go to Seafood City, I hide behind him. I'm like, you order. I don't know why I do this. I get all like, I don't want to do it.
Performance anxiety.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I remember when I was in the Philippines, I was 15, and I just tried to ask, like, how much is this? And, like, they just laughed at me, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
So
and
then I
they
never
call you
did it again.
balikbayans, and then they just speak to you in English. Like, they won't allow for
Yeah.
They don't believe in trying imperfectly. You have to come out of the womb with perfection language. Like that's not how language is developed. You need it's intergenerational learning.
Yeah.
And if here in the diaspora, if you don't have that, if you don't have a lola to speak to you in Tagalog or whatever language it is, then you're at a disadvantage for real. That's how children learn. It's a motor skill. It's from the tongue. It's from the mouth. It's from the face. And there is a type of understanding. I forget the name of it, where you can understand through context and through facial features.
Okay.
That is a way of understanding language, which all of us have it. But it's just not it's not counted. But it's a real thing of understanding language.
I think that's probably my level of Tagalog too. Like if someone were to speak it to me and I concentrate hard enough, I'm like, I can figure out what you're saying. Like I get the gist of what you're saying. I know what you're trying to say. Could I translate it perfectly? No. Can I respond back? Also no. but I get the gist of it. Yeah.
And like Filipino language is actually really fast. Like another thing too is like we learn French here. And English, it's like, est-ce que je peux, may I, and there's a lot of this pleasantry before you get to it.
Formality of it.
And in the Filipino culture, you always be like, oh, I want to be polite. I think that's a lot of barrier to me, where it's like, makano yan? Hey, ate, makano yan? Makano po? Like,
Then
as long as you put the po, then it's like, bonjour, comment ça va? Like, there's no pleasantries. It's fast paced. So once I realized that, then it's like, oh, okay, you can go. You can say it.
Yeah.
As long as you throw in a po there. Fine.
That's the
It's very different. It's very different in the way we socialize here and how to like approach an elder, right? There's
I
love
love the way you
words.
just called that out.
I know, I love the
took
food for
that
thought. I love
Because
that.
to me, I'm like, that's rude. But right? Oh, magkano yan? Doon. Mas mura dito. Like it's like it seems like so like, but it's fast if you actually look at it. Like if you go there, everything's fast and you have to yell and you have to like, and it's like. Right? And it's like a lot of facial pointing. You get
I
away
like
with
the
it. So if
nonverbal.
you could survive.
It's very much part of our language as well.
Or the ano. Get the ano.
Ano yan? Ano ba?
Po.
This just reminded me of another Dai skit as well.
Oh yeah.
So jokes.
She's so good.
She's too many.
Oh man.
Okay, well, I've already learned a lot.
It's only been
like 5 minutes.
Language lesson. Yeah.
We're gonna. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
yeah.
you first.
Nope.
No, ladies first. Go ahead.
So polite, guys. We're Filipinos.
doing
Just to
hello.
get to the
We're
point.
done. We're taking a break. Yeah. Po.
Welcome back, po. So we are here with Dr. Blessyl, and we're gonna get to know her story. But first question I have is, tell me about the doctor. Like, what is your doctorate in?
Yeah, I am a doctor of chiropractic.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and just call me Blessyl.
Okay.
It's all. I mean, it's
Don't make it weird, guys.
yeah. It's just titas among titas here. Yeah. No, I have a doctor of chiropractic. That's part of my education, and then a period of time I was in clinical practice.
Oh, very cool. Okay, so let's start at the beginning then. Where did your career start? We named so many things: choreographer, artist, chiropractor. Where did it start, and how did that lead you to here?
I mean, gosh, like the beginning of when I started making money.
Yeah,
or
sure.
Like the beginning.
The beginning.
The beginning of beginning. I mean, I was 14 and I was I started to assist dance classes teaching dance. And then growing up, I would teach swimming and lifeguard. And so I was always coaching movement. And then but then it's always within an art context or like an athletic context. And this is in the 90s, 80s and 90s. There's no internet. I'm the firstborn child of 3 daughters, Filipino parents in Scarborough. And literally, like, I was such a creative person, but I was also so intrigued with the human body and the human movement. So when it came down to grade 12, kinesiology was the one that seemed to... I mean, I wanted to go to art school, but those programs were college degrees at the time. And I was conditioned it's university or bust. So, but I was also very academic. So I was like, okay, kinesiology, study of human movement. And then I was dancing at McMaster University. Luckily, they had a great place to still train and perform, produce 2 shows there. And then I got an agent. I was dancing professionally in the commercial realm in the lane of like hip hop and commercial jazz.
Wow.
And then I auditioned for Lion King, made it to the few rounds, but I had auditioned, and then I applied to chiropractic college because I had met a chiropractor who was practicing Cabbagetown, who was a retired ballerina from National Ballet of Canada.
Wow.
And she was the first person to be like, you're injured, but that doesn't mean you need to stop. Because back then, it's like if you pull a hamstring, it's like, well, then just stop. It's like, no, we can't just stop. Like, so dramatic. Like, I've got my youth, and like, what? Like, they're like, just stop, Blessyl. Like, just stop. And so I was like, I was like, no, there's got to be a better way. So I was inspired by this chiropractor who helped me with my injuries and kept me dancing. But I had both lanes. I had both lanes.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that was the late 90s, early 2000s. It's not like my kids now where they see, people that look like us on Disney, people that see the Titas on a YouTube podcast. I didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
So it was the generation of like the music video generation where we dream. But I already there was a belief I had to fight that it's not meant for me.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I had such a strong imagination. But there were genuine barriers. And without the internet, if you don't have the network or the family that can be like, the programming was education will save you, will keep you safe, and all the things. So take it to the limit, right?
And also being the older sibling.
And I'm the oldest one.
The role model.
And let's make our
Set the tone.
our move worth it. Let's make the sacrifice worth it, So all of these things, as we all know, they're all peppered into the mix. But I think the through line is, I've always been curious about how the body moves, not only just for myself, but also how to help people like high performing artists. So when I practiced chiropractic, it was with high performing dancers and pre-professional dancers, youth, and to keep them going. And it's interesting, like chiropractic is a science, but it's also an art. It's also about pattern recognition and problem solving.
Yeah.
And in the artwork that I do now, it really starts from the hands. So again, chiropractic is healing with the hands and reading and assessing through the hands. So that whole thing of learning through material, hands, problem solving, and then relating to the human who's in front of you.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So that's
That's
like,
such an amazing
beautifully
take.
said.
Wow.
so that's
I could
how
just
it all
listen
comes
to you
together.
talk.
Your voice and tone is also very soothing.
Very, yeah.
It's
Very
very
soothing.
calming.
Gorgeous.
I feel
Like a moth to a
instantly
flame.
relaxed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did jewelry come in?
What do they call it? 2020's hindsight or whatever? What's that
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
Hindsight 2020.
Hindsight's 2020.
Yes.
When I graduated from chiropractic college, because I was brutal, like it was 8 years post-secondary, right? I wrote my board exam. I was burnt out. And so I had some time between graduating and then working. I don't know what happened. I was churning out all this beading, and I didn't know what it was. And now I look back at it, it's the Cordillera trade beads. It was glass. It was all of that stuff that if you look it up, in the mountain provinces, they do the trade beads, the necklaces, and each thing represents a pig or a carabao. It's the dowry, right? So the more you have,
Especially in Mindanao.
yeah, they have that too. Yeah, so I didn't know it at the time, but I just kept being drawn to that material glass. I didn't touch it, and it was very meditative. And I churned out a bunch of stuff. I started selling just
Did you
to
like
my
black
friends.
out? It's just like,
I was just like, it was like nonstop. I was like, I felt like it was just like, my nervous system needs to come down because, that level of academia, it's like so competitive, and it is, for anyone who's gone through it, like they don't sugarcoat it. They will kick you out if you don't keep up, and you've got to keep up. And there's just such a volume amount to know, and a lot of hoops. Like my nervous system literally needed a reset before I started treating people. So similarly, with the capis, it was after, because I have 4 babies. around 2017. So my son was like my youngest son was probably a year and a half. And I had a break between patients, and I had this Capiz garland that I had bought from Michael's for Christmas. So it's only, Capiz chandelier has the double hole.
Yeah.
So this one only had a single hole. And I don't know what happened. I was like, let me just wear it. And then I started mixing it with the different beads. And what happens is I start creating such a surge. Like I make so much.
Yeah.
And then through that abundance, then Buan Kissed was
Wow.
born.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
And it's such a great name. It just ties in too with your last name as well. What was the point in this journey where you realized that your work was becoming something deeper than performance?
I'd like the choreography or just everything.
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 Yeah.
I mean, there was a shift. When I look back at performances when I was younger, because like I went to Pope John Paul in Scarborough, and their talent shows were no joke. Okay, I took it seriously.
I had a fantasy, like one of my dreams was like, oh, I wish I could be like do a performance and dance. But
Yeah, well,
too
you
scared.
can. I've seen you.
Tell her again. Tell her again.
So when I started choreographing stuff, it's about like world building. Even at that age, even when you're using pop music or whatever, it's like the imagination that comes out of the body, the world building, the intensity of how you look like all around. That's always been a part of my the way I perform, to the point that I thought every dancer does that. A lot of young dancers, some have it right away, but it's something that needs to be trained. It's about coming from within the heart space and having an imagination of where you're going, how you're going to relate or tell a story. So that's always been there, but I think the shift to Filipino contexts shifted around 2014 when I started dancing with Hatao Performing Arts, which you had Victoria on. So Victoria was there. And so we would rehearse in Kensington. That was the first time I actually met Filipino artists that were reclaiming Filipino indigenous, their inherent indigeneity. And a lot of them were Filipino folk dancers, which I'm not. But they couldn't, when I asked them, I'm like, oh, what does this mean? And they're like, I don't know, we just do it because the titas told us to do this, and we just do this, and we put this on. And so it's evolved into like really being intentional of like, okay, the textiles and the adornment being really true to what's actually happening back home. You can't just bang a gong and passable, like we can appropriate our own culture, you know? And so then just from being exposed to that, and then also kind of what they would say bastardizing the folk dances, or what my dad said when he first saw it, he was like, this is not Tinikaling. I'm like, that's right. We're trying to contemporize it, right?
Yeah.
And so all of those kind of experiences, leads to the responsibility of research and that depth, and then what stories I want to tell.
Wow.
A true artist.
So what's a Filipino trait or value that secretly influences your work the most?
Filipinos, there's two things. Filipinos have a high tolerance for back-breaking work, the grit. But what is protective is their multidisciplinary, multi-hyphenate capacity.
Yes.
And that's what brings them into the different contexts. And then naturally you have a very abundant community because you can be the hilot, you could be the mama, you could be the weaver, you could be the builder, you could be the farmer. And when you just kind of, you don't have to be a hero, but you can navigate the different spaces and participate. And so that's the thing about being Filipino that people like to exploit, but that is really the gift.
It really is.
Wow.
Yeah, blessing and a curse.
Yes, you have
know
to
what I
be.
mean?
You
Like-
cannot do the backbreaking work forever. You have to discern and pace. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, titas. Okay.
Wise words, wise words. Okay, well, we are going to take a break, but we'll be right back after this.
Blessyl. So let's talk about Babailan. Did I say it right?
Babailan.
Okay, so what inspired this piece?
Well, Babailan was like commissioned originally for the Art Gallery Ontario for the Pasita Abad exhibition. And previous to that, I was working on a solo called Rara. Rara means to weave a banig. But I didn't want to go in by myself, so I called in Diana Reyes and Candice Kumar to do a trio, to create a new work. And part of the research that I've been working on, you know, even where I was at that point in time and continue to be, is that reckoning of that inner power that is inherently female, femme. And so I think about the Babailan, who are, which is what they call in Visayas, but the ancient, well, no, they still exist. The negotiators between the cosmos and Earth and the community, the indigenous way of being. Mostly practiced by women. Some tribes are men, and some are trans. It's coming from a feminine energy, and so looking at Pasita Abad's work and how she's also got this multiplicity on her textiles and where she's been around the world, I created this fusion of the babae and the intergenerationality of that. And then the Babailan. I wanted to show Filipino women that weren't subservient, that could reclaim their intuition and be fierce, but also there's a lot of shadow work. There's a lot of rage. There's a lot of anger and the undertones. Because for many of us here that have those lineages, they have been silenced. And so even as women here, like all over the world, when you approach perimenopause, there is a universal thing that happens to women where we just don't tolerate the same stuff.
Yeah. You could say it
was just
some
me.
other way. Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying.
And so it's that process for me that I wanted to put in the work. Like, don't get it twisted. You know, the only reason why I guess Filipino women are known for being vocal, like, yes, that's a strength. And if you can't handle it, see you later. Right? It means you are under functioning. Okay?
Louder for the people in the back.
Yes.
Write that down.
Cut it, loop it, love it.
Yeah. You can't get this and not be able to level up. Okay?
Yes. Whew.
So that's Babailan.
Speak it.
I just want to like take that and then like record you and then like send it to a bunch of people on my contact list. If you're wondering why I am the way I am, here you go.
Yeah, you gotta pick up the pace.
Oh, that's so good.
Just like tying a few things that you said together. Like you said that you're the eldest of three. So there's four of you or there's three of you?
There's three girls,
Okay.
yeah.
And you went to university and you did all these different things. But like, how was like your childhood like growing up? Like, did all of your sisters also go to university and kind of follow after you, or?
Yeah, they all went to university. By the time they got out, Ryerson had become a university. So luckily for them, they got to do more creative roles. Like the middle one, it went to finish journalism, and you can see her on CBC.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the
That's so cool.
youngest one did radio and television arts, and she was working for Much Music. And then we bought out by Bell. So it's so funny because mine was like, my art was like a side gig, but then I had to do the song. But you know, like, it's always, I mean, I feel like the way my brain works, I needed that intensity. And I ended up here anyway doing the work, artwork. So me dedicating my life to creating, I mean, it really, it's mandatory for my well-being because it's part of who I am. It's how I think. It's part of my nervous system.
Yeah.
I love that you say intense because like I feel like a lot of people will meet us and they'll be like, you guys are like doing so many things. You guys are so intense. Like but I just think it's almost like a part of Filipino women because there's so many titas I know, and like my mom, I'm thinking of my mom like such a workhorse. And everything that you're saying, but like, so your parents, like, going to university is really expensive. Like, were they just always super supportive, and did they just like support you throughout all of your sisters? Like, whatever they wanted to do, they were there and really supportive throughout the whole time.
Yeah, my parents, like, they both work really hard. They both work really hard, and that was the thing. Education's number one. And then also being very articulate. Language was English language. French language too, because I think, we all did French immersion, and they wanted us to be positioned to take space in this Western world. They really made sure of it, but to the detriment of the preservation of culture. But also, we didn't have relatives here.
So how did you hang on to it? Because I feel like everything you're saying, like I'm thinking like, where are my indigenous roots from? Like, who do I talk to about it? So how were you able to kind of reach back and like reclaim that and go into it while still doing like the hundreds of other things you were doing?
Well, there's like phases, right? Like, you look at like a sound system, like, you can fade it out, and, it's not all happening all at the same time.
Yeah.
If I look back in high school, I was always a little bit different. Like, I would wear my mom's bayongs, the straw bags, just because.
Yeah.
But everybody else, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Capis, I always wore them. And I would wear them to my dance auditions. Like, it would just be like something I would do to take up space. But it was something that I think that was intuitive for me. I was really starving for it. And then it just, like I said, my hands put me down through a path, and then the research comes after.
Yeah.
It is part of the research, actually. It's just not conventional research. So it's like I embody first, and then I see patterns, and I'm like, oh, shoot. What's this? And so it's not like a Lola's like, oh, and by the way, did you know? And then you start, I start looking, doing more research as much as I can, because a lot of it's oral tradition, especially because I have like obscure lineages. It's like, it's like Tagalog, you can look it up and this and that. So if it's not like the trending tribes, you don't really get much. So a lot of it, it's really coming from within.
Yeah, I love that you said that, because a lot of the times when we're trying to explore like our ancestral roots, people kind of feel like it's disingenuous to do like the textbook research, or like, well, if you didn't learn it from your family, your Lola, whatever, then it's not authentic. But I love that you're highlighting the fact that you can still find a way to get a connection to your roots, even if it's not through your own direct family. Like you can do your own research and find out where you came from, what that means. And it must be particularly hard being on the other side of the world. And like you said, you guys have no family here either, right? So you and your family were kind of isolated. So thank you for sharing that, because I don't think a lot of people really realize that it's okay to do that, and you're just as genuine and authentic, even if you learned it from a book rather than one of your relatives.
Yeah, and the book is one way to quote unquote legitimize a finding. It's a very colonial lens to be like, when you think about books and even research, it's like, who's funding it? Who has the privilege to write? Through what point of view? And a lot of the books, the history of books, are written by the colonial, like a Spanish friar. My God, they're incredibly racist.
Yeah.
Especially when I try to look up Sambal. It's just so racist. But you just kind of have to, because they were looking down on our people when they were writing it, right? And so you have to have a level of discernment. And then even when speaking to elders, because of that, the culture of that, they don't want to claim indigeneity, because that would mean they're backwards or they're uneducated. There's a lot of that where they just don't want to pay attention. So it's a very complicated thing, but you can still find a way to follow those threads.
So how do you balance preserving tradition while still evolving contemporary art? Or do you think you should preserve the traditional, and like, I guess, how do you strike that balance between?
Even tradition changes with time, because what is tradition? Is it, how far are we going to go back? Are we going into indigenous roots, or are we going just back to our parents, the way they would do it? Tradition is always changing with time. Language is constantly changing. Even if you look at Filipino natives, they are now using polyester, plastic threads, as opposed to maybe cotton. The way they dye might be just using whatever's there. As there's a Cantarinas weave where they're upcycling textiles, a polyester, and then reweaving it through the loom. Even then, the loom was not a traditional tool, right? I think if we can accept that culture is supposed to be a living thing, culture is a living thing. And we can look back to the past to give it context so that we're not reinventing the wheel. And also, bringing honor to the indigenous minds that brought certain colorways or, like stories. You should be able to find that lineage while also creating your own. And I firmly believe that us in the diaspora are allowed to create our own culture here. Right? Yeah. It's like we can create our own lane, which is legitimate.
I feel like Anna's in a trance.
I'm like, I don't even know what to say.
Okay, so before we take a break here, what's one piece of wisdom from Filipino women in your life that still lives in your body today?
If something is happening that you don't like, speak up.
Ay, nako.
If you feel like somebody's not being truthful, you need to step in.
That's so hard sometimes. And I think sometimes naturally, I know for me, like I'm very much like a people pleaser. So I'm very conscientious of like offending people, making them uncomfortable. So sometimes that's hard to like speak your mind.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me too. I mean, like I have to. You got to really run me ragged, and then I'm. Yeah. Then it's out.
Or else you're gonna get.
And then that's it. Yeah.
No pull. No pull. All right, guys, we're gonna take a break, and we'll be right back after this. Hey guys, welcome back. We're with our special guest, Blessyl. So the dream weave. So it sounds very immersive and emotional. So can you explain the experience for someone who's never seen it before?
Yeah, the Dreamweave started in 2024. I had a solo show at Clark Center for the Arts, and I kind of just whipped up this thing because I was like, oh, one day I want to do Nuit Blanche, and it happened the following year.
Look at that.
Amazing.
But basically, the idea why I wanted to do Nuit Blanche was I wanted to create a participatory installation. And in this case, the Dreamweave is inspired by the banig. And I was doing a lot of research on banig. But the backbone of it is rice bags. And for us, rice is really the currency that keeps culture alive. It keeps your family alive. And on hard times, if at least you only have rice, that's enough.
Yeah.
Everything else you put on the ulam is, you know what? That's a good day. You know, sometimes I've heard stories of coffee on the rice, just soy sauce on the rice. You know, like dried fish. You know, those are the poor stories. Or the Lola, you know, then you reclaim it here. The Lola, you know, took care of a classmate, and it's like, oh, I had coffee with my rice when I was 5. I was like, terrible. But anyway, I was like an addict. Like, so anyway, it's just one of those things that rice bags for me were such a symbol of the diaspora and cultural preservation. And then I asked the audience to write on dried palm, what do you wish to see in your world? And it was in the one at the Clark, it was unmanned. And I just could not believe people writing in their own script, like Tamil, Babayin, all that stuff, Chinese script, Japanese script, reclaiming their own languages and writing what they wish to see in the world. And it could be something like, and kids, if they couldn't write, they drew it. And it would be like something so innocent, like, I want a puppy. And then, you know, and then like the parents like, they're not gonna get it. You know? And then, or like, I wish my neighborhood had no guns. You know, or, you know, it would be an offering to somebody who died, and they would take it so seriously and be like, I really wish one day we'll see each other again. I can't. And it's like whispers of the community. Right? And so when I take down the palm, I'm like, holy smokes. I keep everything. I keep all the entries and I document it. And then for Nuit Blanche, it was huge. 50 feet wide, and then there's another one 20 feet tall. And the rice bags I collected from Tagpuan. So Norwin Ann was the one who helped me with that.
Clever.
Yeah.
she's great.
And it breaks barriers, intergenerational barriers, and what's the word? The demographics and financial barriers. And it really gets people to be participating, their voice while also being anonymous. And there's one thing, when I thought about it, the Dream Weave asks you for your consideration. And in the modern world, we're often dismissed. And it's so fast paced. You know, people want to just like go with the flow, but now I'm asking, what do you want to see? What do you want?
Yeah.
And then there's something very powerful about writing it down and then putting it in the weave for it to be witnessed and held.
Yeah.
And so that goes into kapwa. It's the relationship between humans, nature, which is the palm, and then the wish going up to the cosmos. It's those three things which always manifest in the way I live my life, but also in my work. So you'll always see that circularity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Goosebumps. You said that, I was like, oh, that's so
With that
beautiful.
being said, sorry.
Yeah, no, go for it.
I had a follow-up. So, with that being said, why do you think it's so important to you to create from a place of culture and not just for representation?
Representation, I mean, people interpret what representation is. I mean, tokenism, is that representation? Like just for the sake of ticking a box,
Yeah.
right? And it can start there. But what I try to do with intention is, you know, invite people in for deeper thinking. What I do is I champion labor by the hands and the backs. Like banig, I was told the story from my dad. You know, my great grandmother would weave banig so that she could sell it and then they could get a meal, you know? And a lot of times you can even see it within our community. It's like, why would I spend that much for that? You know, and the banig, it can go from complexity and color and all that stuff. But the straw mat really, there's so many things. You sleep on it, you know, you have offerings, there's dance, there's ritual. But the banig also is classist. So I wanted to champion the stuff that Filipinos probably don't want to talk about on stages and spaces that champion it. And let's see, it's almost like an experiment, you know? What you might be ashamed of, let's see what happens when we put it up, you know?
It also calls to question, like, why are we so ashamed of it? Like, when you're growing up, like, you hear all, like, the folk tales, like, what to be scared of in, like, Filipino culture, or, like, you know, like, everyone learns, like, the bad words. And, like, when you think about, like, the nice things that we say to one another, I can't think of anything other than, like, mahal kita. Like, nothing else is endearing. Everything's either something to be, like, afraid of, or like it's negative, like you
Like
look
criticism,
bruja.
yeah.
It's criticism, right? Like that's what you grow up hearing and listening. So it's like, how can we as like second gen like really embrace that culture if it's always kind of been painted in such a negative light, and then want to teach that to our kids, right? It's like,
Yeah, and I think that's why I invite people in. And then you invite people in that are not necessarily Filipino. Like I grew up in Scarborough, but there was a time, the generation that I was growing up, where there weren't too many Filipinos at the time. So I didn't actually stick to my own kind. I was always diverse. And that's where I actually feel the most in my pocket, you know? And so the collaboration just to everybody from the immigrant experience or second gen, third gen, to be able to have those diverse conversations about something and seeing the through line of how it connects us. And then you see in their face, maybe, like, of course, I didn't ever sleep in a banig. But, you know, I've heard stories, you know, it's like, oh, I felt sorry for myself. I just slept in a banig. Couldn't afford a mattress, so I forgot about this. And they smell the palm, and suddenly the memories, and they sort of, you know, we're in Toronto, and then, you know, giving that a moment. it does some healing for myself, but also for them.
Yeah.
And then my kids are there and they see things at scale and they don't have that baggage.
Yeah.
So for the next gen, it's like they're going to walk through and tell the stories or have their own curiosities and take up space without the mental championing that has to be done before you go forward, of your own self-championing, that self-talk that you have to kind of got to build up on yourself. They just walk in. So I think that's why I do it in that way. Yeah.
So bringing up your mother, you said 4?
I have 4, yeah.
I forgot you have 4. First of all,
Liar.
bro, look at her. Where? Like, what? Wow. So within your motherhood, I guess, like, how has that shifted your perspective on legacy? Aside from,
Oh, legacy. You know, when I see the kids, one thing I'm really conscious about them is that I don't want to project onto them. Of course, they have gifts that are inherited through my husband and I and their grandparents, their ancestors. But they live in a different generation, a different context.
Yeah.
So, and I want to say their names. Leia's 18, Ciel is 15, Ty is 13, and Rigel is 9. And
beautiful family, by the way.
and they're free to, we let them push themselves. And I think the legacy is really if we can, if those 4 kids can be self-disciplined, self-aware, self-advocate, and be strong critical thinkers, then that's all they need, right?
Yeah.
Then and please be creative. Please be physically active right till the end. So that's what I feel. And kind.
Yes. Oh,
So those things. I think that's the thing. And then just go.
very beautiful.
I love that you didn't mention like any education, anything financial, like who they marry. Because I think like when you're growing up, you think, okay, I have to go to university. I have to marry somebody who's Filipino. I have to have X amount of kids. Like for you, it was just like basic things. And I think that you're prioritizing like happiness. And I love that you said kindness, because I think like, you know, like you're taught when you go to a Catholic school and you like, somebody was like joking around, like in the Bible it says this. Like I think that's like a new trend. Yeah, apparently, like the Bible says this, so you have to do it. But there's so many things that like we are supposed to remember growing up, especially going to Catholic school. But there's so many like hypocrisies. We were talking about that earlier, like that we see demonstrated in that kind of environment. And it's like if only we just taught our kids to be kind and, like you said, self-aware. Like I think that's such an important one. For whatever they're looking at on their screen, like they have to really think about it in their head and say, well, what am I looking at right now? Like, how does that affect me? How does that affect others? Like, what am I going to take with me and what am I going to leave behind?
And I think that creativity has a way of always providing a home for yourself. No matter where you go, it always brings you back, and it brings you to places and stories that I'm sure it naturally unfolded for you organically, right? But I definitely want to continue that. But we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back. I know I quickly touched on creativity. So I did want to ask, how does being a creator, like how does motherhood change how you create, or do you create with your kids? Like,
Yeah, like they're in the mix. I mean, when they were babies and I was focusing on chiropractic, it changed. I was dancing, but like it's like stop and go. You have to be comfortable with interruption and phases, and maybe you're just creating for self and not necessarily publishing, or you're creating under another person's artistic direction, so that takes a lot off because it's a lot of mental work. But being a creative is also, it's problem solving. It's trying to find a way. You tell me no, I'll find another way. And with kids, there's always a no. Like, let's go. No. And so you gotta have to figure out on the fly how we're gonna convince this kid or kids, that this is a good idea, like, or something. So the creativity changes depending on the context, but it's like it's just the way you approach things. Yeah.
I love that. What kind of example are you trying to, I guess, with that being said, do you think there's an example you're trying to set when it comes to teaching the younger generation about creativity and culture? Like, what do you hope the younger Filipinos creative see you in the journey?
Well, when I working with babaelan and workshops, I'm usually the oldest one in the room. And just being open to listening to youth, opening to listen to multiple generations, because there's gems there. And basically just allowing for them to have a voice. I think you can be cringe. I mean, the thing with the younger youth now with social media is like you want to get something perfected. And the nice thing about growing up and, artistic processes and even just thinking is slow. It takes years sometimes before something being seeded. But the churn for social media, it's just not realistic. Yeah. Where it's performative, so to really build on true artistry, you need to feel comfortable creating without an audience for a very long time, because being a professional artist, there's more rejection than there is acceptance to the gigs that, so being able to work with vigor and curiosity, doing that self-work to protect your light, because life can bring you down, and then when you are down, can you transmute it into your art? So those are the things that protecting the youth to be expressive, because one day an adult will come and project onto them their limitations. But if you are limitless, don't believe the hype of a limited life.
What?
But it gets programmed.
Put it on a t-shirt. Give me 5. I'm buying it.
Yeah, we are brainwashed to think that we are only one thing.
Yeah.
So you can start something, stop something, come back to it. And motherhood, you're gonna feel stunted and frustrated. But they grow up, and now they're growing up. So now I'm doing my art part. So yeah, just keep going. I'm
just gonna mention one of my favorite memories was meeting you at that looming art session. Remember, you brought your daughter, and oh my gosh, I see her face, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember her name right now.
Maybe it was Ciel. Because I've been to different things, so now I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
now.
so we did the looming art. I think there was a few weeks of that, which I really enjoyed.
Oh, right. I remember that. And then we did a parole in the end.
Yes,
Okay, yeah, with
yes.
Happy Pole. Yes.
So that was really fun.
Yes.
I enjoyed doing that.
Yes.
And then because we were introduced with each other, then we had the socials. And one of my favorite clips was when you were at a party. Where was it? And your daughter, you started dancing.
Yeah.
Killed it, by the way, but obviously. And then your daughter came and she recorded you and she was like hyping you up, which I thought was so adorable, because it's so easy. Like, you're like, Mom, Dad.
No,
you can come off cringe so fast.
Yeah.
No, it was Sienna Marie, who's a dancer. But that's what I'm saying. It's like the younger
I
Jen.
thought that was your daughter.
Plot
I'm sorry.
twist.
My kids were there. My kids were there. And then we did this I guess a cipher at the end.
Yeah, it was so
everybody left
cool.
Cultura, and then we were just playing.
I loved it.
And then, but it was the young ones. So I'm the Tita, and then literally a Tita.
Yeah. No,
but it was just
everybody was surrounding you.
Yeah,
you did
it was
amazing.
Cool. It was fun.
It was
Doing
so
a
good.
cipher with your mom has got to be
hello. So cool.
That's crazy.
So going off of what you said in terms of being one of the eldest people in the room, what does success look like for you at this age and this stage of your life compared to what it looked like for you 10 years ago?
Okay, 10 years ago, 2016.
Pre-pandemic, yeah.
Yeah, pre-pandemic. I mean, 2016, let me just put into the context. I gave birth to my youngest, and I was so tired. Tired. I really couldn't think. I would never in a million years think that there was anything beyond breastfeeding and carrying babies on hips and driving them to swim lessons and all the things. what is my vision of success?
Yeah, like has
How
the
is it
marker
bring-
of success changed for you? Like, is there certain things you feel like you need to be accomplished or achieve in order to deem yourself successful? Or is success being joyous and happy in the work that you're doing and being fulfilled?
Yeah, I mean, 10 years ago, I just wanted to survive the day and make sure my kids were fed. Like, I mean, I had already finished school and did the career thing, and so that 10 years ago was really making sure my babies were alive and thriving and making sure they brush their teeth and all the things.
Yeah, that's actually a struggle, you guys. I used to tell everybody, like my parents, my friends that don't have kids, I was like, in the mornings, I'm responsible for brushing 3 sets of teeth, washing 3 faces, brushing 3 sets of hair. I'm like, that's a lot, especially
Yeah.
with young kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I had 2 under 2. So
Yeah, that's busy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think back 10 years ago, I'm like, how the heck did I have that energy? Like, I was just like, you're just like, I don't know what's happening tomorrow, but we repeat it and we do it again.
That is so real.
I'm
Yeah.
using that soundbite anytime
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel that mood.
You should put that on the sound.
No, really, it's just like you're just in another portal of busyness.
Yeah.
And now that you've gotten some of that autonomy back because they're getting older, they're a little bit more independent. How do you feel you'll vision your success?
Success for me is really simple. It's inner peace. It's discerning where I put my energy. Even though they're older, teenagers, preteens, the youngest is 9. They still need me. They really, it's the emotional support for the 4. They're all athletes, like dancers, like they're really pushing themselves. They have injuries. Like there's a lot of mindset helping, and it's different. Like they can do their laundry and all the things, but there's that emotional component and psychological component. So I need to make sure that I'm good so that they're good, you know? And so it's been really protecting I'm in the era of protecting my energy.
I love that.
Put your mask on first.
But also designing my life. I had so much, I always thought I never had enough energy because I was doing so many things and feeling tired, running myself ragged. What I realize now in my 40s is that I wasn't supported well, emotionally supported well, in the sense that I've just been the one to figure things out. Right? Especially pre-internet. You don't know, figure it out. You don't know where to go, figure it out. Get off the bus, get on another bus. Ask a stranger. It's like you just got to figure it out, which is a blessing. It's to have that kind of, you can move, but at the same time, it's exhausting. And so now, trying to call in more self-compassion, fast isn't always better. I need to breathe. I need to work a little bit slower and smarter.
A phrase I learned recently was called "pace it, don't race it." And I was like, "Oh, damn,
Pace it, don't race it. Yeah.
This is also bringing me. I had a therapy session, and she had said, like, you spent so many of your years, like, surviving your life. You know, like, you're a young mom, whatever. And then now you're at this point where, like, you're really coming into, like, the person you're supposed to be. Like, you're finally able to have that space. And so, like, we've had so many guests, and I'm, like, so baffled every time. They're like, we're in our 40s. And I'm like, you look great. What the heck?
But you're not supposed to dwindle and die in your 40s.
But 40s actually, for me, has, like, you kind of get excited for that part of your life. Because at that point, when I'm in my 40s, my son will be 8, right? So I'm just like, man, potty trained. You know? My daughter will be in university, hopefully in another country, like really living her life. And it's like looking forward to that. You've pushed yourself so hard, and like you said, you've figured it out, and now you're finally in this chapter where like you just get to do what you finally want to do. So like when I meet women, especially Filipino women in their 40s, and they're so successful and they've done so many things, so many caps, it's like you're so hopeful, right? So I'm just so happy that we were able to meet you. And really, your voice is so soothing. You should be an
soothing.
reader or something.
We're gonna add that to your resume of your next goals.
Do you want to finish
do
with
voice
audio
acting.
book?
Yeah.
You really should
Oh.
add it to the. You should add it to your resume.
Like history and like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'll sign up. I was like, I'll be your first
Just
customer.
talk about benigs. I would.
I will listen.
I would.
Do you want to
totally
finish quickly
listen.
with Filipino flash?
Okay, Filipino Flash.
Filipino
Yes.
Flash.
Every
Meow, meow,
guest episode. Okay,
Human soundboard.
3, 2, 1. Favorite Filipino word?
I don't say this enough. Bulaklak. Bulaklak.
That's what I call her.
Hi, bulaklak. I love it. I just like how it rolls off
call
my
her
tongue.
bulaklak.
It's fun. And it's
Oh my god,
That's a good
so
one.
funny.
And also just fun to say.
Yes.
Okay. A Filipino superstition you still low-key believe.
I didn't grow up in the Philippines, but tabi-tabi po, I do it here in the forest.
Oh, you do it here. Okay.
I will do
There
it
are duendes
at a
here
TTC
also.
station. I'm like, sometimes I don't know if you ever get weird vibes anywhere. Like I'll just,
Yeah,
it's something I'll say
do
in your
it,
mind.
yeah.
What's always something in your studio/workspace?
What's always there?
Yeah.
Oh my God, too many things.
All the things.
Too many. Yeah, it's too much stuff.
Coffee, tea, or I actually don't know this one, but I'm just gonna say it. Salabat.
Yeah, I don't
know what
what's
that
I
is?
don't
Anyone?
know what that is.
No.
Let us know in the comments.
I mean, I like coffee and tea, but they do two different things.
This is
But
true. Yeah, two
Yeah,
different
coffee's
needs.
good for the mood,
Yes.
and tea is good for the focus.
One thing about Filipino culture you hope never disappears.
The laughter.
Yes. Oh, yes. 10 times yes. Most healing place you've ever visited.
There's two places, Mexico and Hawaii. There's doesn't matter where. It's just that land is charged for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One day. I
one day.
can't wait to go.
One day.
If your artistry had a scent, what would it smell like?
Such a good question.
Ooh, jasmine and tobacco.
Oh,
Like which one?
Jasmine and tobacco, but not cigarette tobacco.
No,
like
yeah, I know what kind you're talking about. Oh, that's nice. I want a candle now.
Jasmine and tobacco.
where can I go to smell it?
Yeah.
We're gonna light her candle while we're listening to her audible.
Yeah.
Oh, there's also
be
a
great.
potageri.
Oh,
She'll
yeah.
always
We
do
could-
Filipino
we could ask.
flavored items
We
as
could
well.
ask. Yeah.
Okay, before we go, is there anything you want to let the audience know? Any projects, sneak peeks, anything you can share?
Well, you can follow me on Instagram at DRBLESSYL. I do have a project that's coming up in the fall in October, which I cannot announce yet. But if you follow me, you will find out in time.
There
You heard
go.
it here, guys.
Okay.
And I believe you have something at Makilala.
Oh, yeah.
right?
Thank you. Yes.
doing so many things, can't even keep track.
Makilala, the Makilala Market is currently holding Buan kissed items. Araw Moon, which Jada is so beautifully modeling,
Honestly,
is
like
there, as well as some other styles. So go to Makilala, shop, and go have a nice meal.
Amazing. Yay. Okay, well, we just want to say maraming salamat, Blessyl, for coming us
salamat.
and joining us on the show and just sharing your wisdom, your artistry, and just your spirit. Like, absolutely.
And your voice. And your voice.
And through this interview and through this connection, just like thank you for reminding us that, culture is not just something that we inherit. It is something that you are actively doing, that you live, and that you grow with through the generations as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Tita.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, you know where to find us. Same Tita place, same Tita time. And until next time, ingat.
Amping.
Po.
Po.